Lisa Martinez rubbed her tired eyes and stared at the screen again. She had been working the night shift at Titan Watch for 3 years now, and most nights were quiet. The space station orbited high above Earth, watching for any threats or strange signals from deep space. Tonight felt different, though. Something was wrong with the equipment. "Hey, Jake, can you look at this?" Lisa called across the communications room. Jake Thompson, the chief science officer, walked over to her station. His coffee cup steamed in the cold air of the station. "What do you have?" Jake asked, setting his cup down and leaning over Lisa's shoulder to look at her screens. "I keep getting this weird signal. It's been coming in for about 2 hours now. It's really weak, and it keeps breaking up. But look at this pattern." Lisa pointed to a series of numbers and symbols scrolling across her monitor. Jake frowned and adjusted his glasses. The pattern was strange. It looked like math, but not human math. The symbols were different, and the way they were arranged seemed alien. "Where is it coming from? That's the weird part. It's coming from way out there, past the edge of our solar system. Maybe even from another star system." Lisa pulled up a star map on her second screen. A red dot blinked far beyond Pluto's orbit. Jake grabbed a chair and sat down next to Lisa. "Let me run this through the computer. Maybe we can clean up the signal." His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard. After a few minutes, the signal became clearer on the screen. "My God," Jake whispered. "Lisa, I think this might be a message from aliens." Lisa felt her heart start beating faster. In all her years working at Titan Watch, they had never received anything like this. "Are you sure? Look at this pattern. These numbers, they're prime numbers. But they're written in a base 8 system instead of our base 10. And these symbols here, they look like they might be coordinates." Jake pointed to different parts of the message. The two humans worked together for the next hour, slowly decoding pieces of the alien message. What they found made them both go pale. "We need to call Admiral Rogers right now," Jake said, reaching for the emergency communication device. "Wait, what does it say exactly?" Lisa asked. Jake looked at his notes. "It's a distress call. They're asking for help. They say their worlds are being destroyed by something called the Korthak Empire. They've heard rumors about a species called humans who might be able to help them. They know about us, apparently. They call us Deathworlders. I think that means they think we're dangerous or strong, because we come from a dangerous planet." Jake picked up the emergency phone. "Admiral Rogers needs to hear this immediately." 30 minutes later, Admiral Kate Rogers arrived at Titan Watch with her top officers. She was a tall woman with gray hair and sharp blue eyes. She had commanded the Terran Defense Fleet for 10 years and had never dealt with anything like this. "Show me what you found," Admiral Rogers said as she entered the communications room. Lisa and Jake explained everything they had discovered. The message was from something called the Villani Coalition. They were 3 different alien species working together. Their worlds were being attacked by the Korthak Empire, which seemed to be a group of aliens who destroyed planets and enslaved the survivors. "They're offering us their most advanced technology if we help them," Jake explained. "But Admiral, they sound desperate, like they're almost out of time." Admiral Rogers studied the decoded message for a long time. The room was quiet except for the humming of computers and the distant sound of air recyclers. "How do we know this isn't a trap?" asked Commander Bill Hayes, the Admiral's second in command. "We don't," Admiral Rogers replied. "But look at this message. It took them enormous effort to send this across space to reach us. If they wanted to hurt us, there would be easier ways." "What are you thinking, Admiral?" Lisa asked. "I'm thinking that for the first time in human history, we're being asked to help other intelligent species. And if we don't help them, they might all die." Admiral Rogers turned to Commander Hayes. "Bill, I want you to prepare the USS Defiance and 2 escort ships. We're going to investigate this." "Ma'am," Earth Command might not approve of this mission, Commander Hayes warned. Then we won't ask for permission. We'll ask for forgiveness later. Admiral Rogers looked back at the alien message on the screen. How long would it take us to reach their location? Jake did some quick calculations. About 3 weeks if we use our fastest ships and push the engines hard. 3 weeks. They might not have 3 weeks. Admiral Rogers made her decision. We leave in 6 hours. I want the best crew we have. And I want every piece of information about this Korthuk Empire that we can find. As the Admiral and her officers left to prepare for the mission, Lisa stayed at her station. She kept staring at the alien message, thinking about the beings who had sent it. Somewhere out in the darkness of space, entire civilizations were fighting for their lives. And somehow they had heard of humans and thought Earth's people might be able to save them. Deathworlders, Lisa said quietly to herself. She wondered what the aliens meant by that word. Humans had always thought of themselves as just regular people living on a regular planet. But maybe, compared to other species in the galaxy, humans were different. Maybe Earth really was a dangerous world that had made its people strong. The message kept repeating on her screen, over and over. A desperate plea from across the stars, hoping that the humans of Earth would come to help. Lisa had a feeling that everything was about to change for humanity. They were no longer alone in the universe, and the galaxy was much more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Captain Ben Clark stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance as they dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The view screen showed a solar system that looked nothing like home. 3 weeks of hard travel had brought them to the edge of Villani. Space, and what they saw made everyone on the bridge go silent. "My God," whispered Lieutenant Ryan Cooper from his position at the sensor station. "Captain, you need to see this." Ben walked over to Ryan's station and looked at the sensor readings. Where there should have been beautiful planets orbiting a yellow star, there were only half-destroyed worlds. Massive ships the size of cities were attached to each planet like metal parasites, slowly eating away at the surface. "Those must be the Korthuk harvester ships," said Commander Amy Foster, the ship's diplomatic officer. She had studied every piece of information they could find about the alien threat during their journey. How many people lived on those worlds? Ben asked quietly. Amy checked her notes. According to the message we received, the Villani had colonies on 4 planets in this system. About 50 million people total. Ben felt sick as he watched the harvester ship strip mining entire continents. "Any sign of survivors?" "I'm picking up some small ships hiding in the asteroid belt," Ryan reported. "They're trying to stay hidden from the harvesters. Open a communication channel. Use the same mathematical language from their original message." Ben ordered. It took several minutes, but finally a weak signal came back. The voice was strange, clicking and buzzing in a way that hurt human ears. But the ship's computer was able to translate it into English. "Unknown ships, please identify yourselves. Are you here to help the Korthuk?" Amy stepped forward to the communication station. "This is Commander Amy Foster of the Earthship USS Defiance. We received your distress call. We are here to help you, not the Korthuk." There was a long pause. Then the alien voice came back, and this time it sounded excited. "You are the Deathworlders? You are the humans from Earth?" "Yes, we are humans. Can you meet with us?" "Yes, yes." "Follow these coordinates. We will take you to our fleet commander." The small alien ships led the human fleet deeper into the asteroid belt. There, hidden among the rocks, was the strangest ship Ben had ever seen. It looked like it was grown rather than built, with smooth curves and what appeared to be living tissue covering the hull. "That's a Villani bioship," Amy explained. "They grow their ships instead of building them with metal." An hour later, Ben, Amy and Ryan were standing in the most alien place any human had ever been. The inside of the Villani ship felt warm and alive. The walls seemed to pulse gently, and everything glowed with a soft blue light. The Villani themselves were even stranger than their ships. They looked like giant insects, about 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and large compound eyes. Their leader introduced herself as Hive Mother Zitara. Her voice came through a translation device that made her sound more human. "We did not think you would really come," Zitara said. "Many species have heard our calls for help, but none have answered." "We're here now," Ben replied. "Tell us about your enemies." Zitara led them to what looked like a war room. Holographic displays showed the destruction across Villani space. The Korthek Empire has been destroying worlds for many years. They are not like us. They are part machine, part living creature. They do not want to live with other species. They only want to consume and grow stronger. 2 other aliens stepped forward. One looked like it was made of living crystal, while the other seemed to be some kind of water creature in a special suit. "This is Shard Singer Veltar of the Fotari, and this is Deep Current Morgesh of the Nereid," Zitara explained. "We 3 species formed the Villani coalition to fight the Korthek together, but we are losing." Amy studied the holographic displays. "How long have you been fighting them?" 15 of your Earth years, Veltar answered. His crystal body chimed like bells when he spoke. "They have destroyed 47 worlds. We have saved only 12. Why haven't other species helped you?" Ryan asked more single quotes G. Ish made a sound like water flowing over rocks. "Most species in the galaxy are peaceful. They do not have weapons like the Korthek. When the Korthek attack, they surrender or die." "But you have heard of humans," Ben said. "Why did you think we might be different?" "We have heard stories from traders and explorers," Zitara explained. "They say humans come from a death world, a planet so dangerous that it made its people strong and fierce. They say humans fight with a fury that other species cannot match." Amy looked at her fellow humans. "A death world? Earth? Your planet has predators that hunt in packs. It has storms that can destroy cities. It has diseases that kill millions. Most worlds in the galaxy are peaceful places. Your world made you into warriors without you even knowing it." For the next several hours, the humans learned everything they could about the Korthek. The enemy ships were heavily armored and armed with weapons that could crack planets. But they had weaknesses too. "They fight in perfect formation," Veltar explained. "Every ship does exactly what their commanders tell them to do. They cannot adapt quickly to new situations, and they rely on their command ships to give orders." Morgesh added, "If you can disrupt their communications, their fleets become confused." Ryan made notes on everything. "Captain, I think I see what they mean about us being different. Most alien species seem to follow orders exactly, but humans are good at thinking for themselves and adapting to new situations." Ben nodded. "The question is, can 3 human ships really make a difference against an entire enemy fleet?" "You are not just 3 ships," Zitara said. "You are representatives of an entire species that has never been conquered. Just knowing you are here gives us hope." As the meeting ended, Ben realized that this was bigger than just one battle. If humans could help the Villani coalition, it would change everything. Earth would no longer be alone in the galaxy. But if they failed, entire civilizations would disappear forever. "We need more information about their tactics," Ben told his crew as they returned to the Defiance. "Ryan, I want you to take a stealth probe and get close to those harvester ships. We need to know exactly what we're up against." "Yes, sir," Ryan replied. "But Captain, what if they're right about us being Deathworlders? What if we really are different from other species?" Ben looked out at the stars, thinking about Earth and all the challenges that had made humanity strong. "Then maybe it's time. The galaxy learned what humans can do when someone asks for our help." The message from Captain Ben Clark reached Earth faster than anyone expected. When the government leaders heard about the alien crisis, they were shocked. But what happened next surprised everyone even more. Admiral Steve Miller was eating breakfast on Mars colony when his communication device started beeping. He read the emergency message 3 times before he believed it. Aliens were real, they needed help, and Earth was asking all human colonies to send ships. "This is incredible," Steve said to his wife. "We're not alone in the universe, and they want our help." Within hours, Steve was organizing the colonial fleet. Ships from Mars, Europa, the moon bases, and asteroid mining stations all received the same message. Humanity needed to show the galaxy what they could do. On Europa, General Carol Evans was training her Marine unit when the call came. She had always wondered if humans would ever meet aliens. Now she knew, and those aliens needed soldiers. "Pack everything," Carol told her Marines. "We're going to war, but not against other humans. We're going to save an entire civilization." The Marines loaded their newest power armor and weapons onto transport ships. They had trained for years to fight in space and on alien worlds. Now, they would finally get the chance, but the biggest surprise came from the outer colonies. Captain Alex Turner was fixing his mining ship when he heard the news on the radio. The Iron Prospector was not a warship. It was designed to cut apart asteroids and haul ore, but Alex had an idea. If these Korthak use heavy armor on their ships, maybe mining equipment can cut through it, Alex told his crew. "We have the biggest cutting lasers in human space." Alex sent a message to every mining ship, cargo hauler, and space trucker in the outer system. "Anyone who wants to help save some aliens, meet me at Station 7. The response was amazing. Within a week, over 60 civilian ships had joined Alex's group. Miners, truckers, salvage crews, and even some space pirates all volunteered to help. They welded weapons onto their ships and painted Earth Defense Force on their hulls. Back on Earth, Dr. Nina Walsh was working day and night in her laboratory. She was humanity's best expert on alien biology, and now she had real aliens to study. The Villani had sent biological samples to help humans understand their enemies. "The Korthak are part machine and part living tissue," Nina explained to her research team. "But that might be their weakness. If we can create a virus that attacks their biological parts, we might be able to disable their technology." Nina worked with computer expert Pete Johnson to create digital viruses that could attack Korthak systems. Pete had spent years fighting cyber criminals, and now he was preparing to hack an alien computer network. "Their systems are more advanced than ours, but they're also more connected," Pete explained. "If we can get a virus into their network, it might spread to their entire fleet." All across human space, people were volunteering to help. Engineers like Tony Kim worked around the clock to install weapons on civilian ships. Doctors prepared medical supplies for wounded aliens. Even children in schools were making care packages for the alien refugees. The news reporters called it the greatest mobilization in human history. In just 6 weeks, over 400 ships had gathered at the staging area near Jupiter. There were massive battlecruisers from Earth's Navy, fast attack ships from the colonial fleet, and dozens of converted civilian vessels. Admiral Kate Rogers stood on the bridge of her flagship and watched the fleet assemble. She had never seen so many human ships in one place. But what amazed her most was how quickly everyone had come together. "Admiral, we're getting volunteer ships from colonies I didn't even know existed," reported her communications officer. "There's a group of deep space explorers who want to help. And someone just arrived with a ship full of scientists who want to study alien technology." The alien representatives were amazed by the human response. Hive Mother Zitara had never seen anything like it. "Your species mobilizes for war faster than any species we have ever encountered," she told Admiral Rogers. "Most civilizations take years to make such decisions. You have done this in weeks. When someone asks for help, we help," Admiral Rogers replied. "That's just who we are." But not everyone was happy with the plan. Some Earth politicians wanted to negotiate with the Korthek instead of fighting them. Others worried that humans were getting involved in a war they didn't understand. "What if we lose?" asked Senator Robert Gray during an emergency meeting. "What if this brings the Korthek to Earth?" "Then we'll fight them here too," Admiral Rogers answered. "But if we don't help the Vellani now, the Korthek will grow stronger. Eventually, they'll find Earth anyway." The final ship to join the fleet was unexpected. Captain Maria Santos arrived in a hospital ship filled with doctors and medical supplies. But her ship also carried something special: families of the human crew members who wanted to be close to their loved ones during the mission. "We're not just sending soldiers," Maria explained. "We're sending a piece of humanity itself. These aliens need to see what we're fighting for." As the fleet prepared to leave for Vellani space, Admiral Rogers sent a message to Earth. "Today, humanity takes its first step into the larger galaxy. We go not as conquerors, but as protectors. We go to show the universe that when civilizations call for help, humans answer." The massive fleet began moving toward the jump point. 400 ships from dozens of different colonies and organizations, all united by one purpose. They were going to save the Vellani coalition, or die trying. Captain Alex Turner looked at his mining ship surrounded by warships and laughed. "Never thought I'd be part of a space armada when I woke up this morning." His crew laughed with him, but they all felt the same pride. They were part of something bigger than themselves. They were representing all of humanity in its first major test among the stars. The Deathworlder fleet was ready for battle. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Vellani Prime system. What they saw made even the most experienced captains gasp in horror. The beautiful blue and green homeworld of the Vellani was half dead. Massive Korthek harvester ships, each one the size of a city, were attached to the planet like giant metal insects, sucking the life out of their victim. Admiral Kate Rogers stood on the bridge of the USS Defiance and counted the enemy ships. 200 Korthak vessels, including that monster command ship, she said to her officers. "They outnumber us, but we have something they don't." "What's that, Admiral?" asked Captain Ben Clark. "We have unpredictability," Kate replied with a grim smile. "All ships, this is Admiral Rogers. Remember your training. Stay flexible, stay mobile, and watch out for each other. Today we show the galaxy what humans can do." The Korthek fleet detected the humans immediately. Their ships began moving into perfect formation, creating neat rows of heavily armed vessels. It was exactly what the human commanders had expected. "They're forming up just like the Vellani told us they would," reported Captain Dan Brooks from his fighter squadron. "Perfect lines, no flexibility. All civilian ships, this is your moment." Admiral Rogers broadcast to the converted mining vessels and cargo haulers. "Remember, you're not trying to win a fair fight. You're trying to cause chaos." Captain Alex Turner grinned as he fired up the engines of his mining ship, Iron Prospector. "You heard her, boys. Let's show these aliens how humans really fight." The battle began when the human fleet suddenly scattered in all directions. Instead of forming neat battle lines like every other species in the galaxy, the humans attacked from dozens of different angles at once. Fighter squadrons led by Dan Brooks dove straight at the Korthek command ship, while mining vessels like Alex's attacked the harvester ships from behind. The Korthek commanders were confused. Their computer systems kept trying to predict human movements, but the humans kept doing things that made no sense. Some ships attacked in groups, others attacked alone. Some used military tactics, others just crashed into enemy ships and started cutting them apart with industrial tools. "The cutting beam is working," Alex shouted over the radio as his mining lasers sliced through Korthak armor like it was paper. "These things were built to cut apart asteroids. Alien metal is no problem." Commander Grace Phillips led a team of Marines in boarding pods toward a damaged Korthek ship. Remember, we need to capture their computer systems intact, she told her troops. Pete needs access to their network. The Marines smashed through the hull of the enemy ship and found themselves fighting cyborg creatures that were half machine and half alien flesh. But human soldiers had trained for years in zero-gravity combat, and they were ready. These things are tough, but they're slow, Grace reported as her Marines advanced through the ship. They're not used to fighting enemies who think for themselves. Back on the Defiance, Pete Johnson was waiting for his chance. The cyber warfare specialist had created a virus designed specifically to attack Korthek computer systems. But he needed direct access to their network to upload it. Grace, I need you to find a main computer terminal, Pete said over the radio. Something that connects to their fleet network. Working on it, Grace replied as her Marines fought their way toward the ship's bridge. The Korthek defenders kept trying to stop them, but the human soldiers were too fast and too unpredictable. Meanwhile, the main battle was getting more chaotic by the minute. Human ships were everywhere, attacking from above, below, and from the sides. The Korthak fleet tried to respond, but their rigid command structure couldn't adapt fast enough. Their command ship is trying to reorganize their formation, reported Lieutenant Ryan Cooper from his reconnaissance position. But our random attacks are keeping them confused. That's when Admiral Rogers made her boldest move. All ships concentrate on the command vessel. If we can take out their central command, the rest of their fleet will fall apart. The massive Korthak command ship was 3 times larger than the biggest human battleship. Its armor was thick enough to stop most weapons, and it bristled with enough guns to destroy a small moon. But it had one weakness: it was slow. Dan, take your fighters and keep their attention, Admiral Rogers ordered. Everyone else, we're going to ram that thing. Ram it? Captain Ben Clark asked. Admiral, that ship is huge. That's why we're going to hit it with everything we have at the same time, Kate replied. On my mark, all ships full speed at the command vessel. Captain Alex Turner laughed as he pushed his mining ship to maximum speed. This is either the bravest thing we've ever done, or the stupidest. Probably both, replied Dan Brooks as his fighters danced around the command ships. Weapons. The human fleet charged the Korthak command ship from every direction. Some ships fired missiles and energy weapons. Others, like Alex's mining vessel, prepared to ram the enemy directly. The Korthak ship tried to defend itself, but it couldn't target so many small, fast-moving attackers at once. Grace, did you find that computer terminal? Pete asked urgently. Got it. Grace replied, uploading your virus now. Pete watched his computer screen as the virus spread through the Korthak network. It was working better than he had hoped. The digital weapon was designed to attack the biological parts of Korthak technology, and it was spreading faster than their systems could stop it. It's working. Pete shouted. Their systems are shutting down all over the fleet. The effect was immediate. Korthak ships began drifting as their engines failed. Their weapons stopped firing. Their communications went silent. The virus was spreading from ship to ship, disabling the entire fleet. All ships, cease fire, Admiral Rogers ordered. The battle is over. The human fleet regrouped around the disabled Korthak vessels. In less than 4 hours, they had defeated an enemy that had been terrorizing the galaxy for decades. The cost had been surprisingly light, only 12 human ships damaged, and no ships lost. Admiral, reported Captain Ben Clark, the Korthak. Survivors are requesting permission to surrender. Kate Rogers looked at the defeated enemy fleet. Tell them we accept their surrender. And send a message to Earth. The Deathworlders have won their first battle. 6 months after the Battle of Villani Prime, the galaxy was a different place. Captain Ben Clark, now Admiral Ben Clark, stood on the bridge of his new flagship watching construction robots rebuild a Villani city. The sight still amazed him. Humans and aliens working together to heal the wounds of war. "Admiral, we're receiving another distress call," reported Communications Officer Lisa Martinez. She had requested transfer to the new Terran-Villani Joint Fleet after the battle. "This one is from the Rigel system. A species called the Hadari are under attack by Korthak raiders," Ben smiled. It was the 5th distress call this week. Word had spread across the galaxy about the humans who had defeated the mighty Korthak. "Empire, now every threatened species wanted help from the Deathworlders. Tell them help is on the way," Ben said. "How many ships can we spare?" 30 human vessels and 20 Villani bioships," Lisa replied. "The Fatari are sending some. Of their crystal ships, too." The alliance had grown far beyond what anyone had imagined. After the victory at Villani Prime, dozens of alien species had asked to join the coalition. They brought their own ships, technology, and knowledge. But they all looked to humans for military leadership. Down on the planet's surface, Dr. Nina Walsh was teaching a class of mixed human and alien students. Her new Interspecies Research Institute had become the most important scientific center in the galaxy. "The key to understanding Deathworld evolution," Nina explained to her students, "is that dangerous environments create adaptable species. Earth's predators, diseases, and natural disasters forced humans to become flexible thinkers and problem solvers." A young Villani student raised one of her forearms. "Dr. Walsh, why do humans fight so differently from other species?" "Most alien species evolved on peaceful worlds," Nina answered. "They learned to cooperate and follow orders. Humans evolved while being hunted by predators and fighting natural disasters. We learned to think fast and adapt to new situations. The cultural exchange was working both ways. Humans were learning alien philosophy, art, and science. Many humans now lived on alien worlds while aliens visited Earth to study human society. The galaxy was becoming more connected than ever before. In Earth's orbital shipyards, Admiral Steve Miller was overseeing the construction of the largest fleet in human history. The colonial fleet had grown from a few dozen ships to over 1,000 vessels, but more importantly, they were no longer just human ships. "The new biometal hybrid hulls are working perfectly," reported engineer Tony Kim. "Combining human engineering with Villani biotechnology has made our ships twice as strong. And the Fatari crystal computers make our weapon systems incredibly accurate," added Steve. "We're creating technology that no single species could develop alone." But the real change was happening in the minds of people across the galaxy. Captain Alex Turner, still commanding his converted mining ship, was training a mixed crew of humans and aliens. "The thing about humans," Alex explained to his Nereid navigation officer, "is that we don't like to lose. When someone asks for help, we help. When someone threatens innocent people, we fight." The Nereid made a sound like flowing water that meant agreement. This is why other species call humans Deathworlders. Not because you are cruel, but because you do not give up. Back on Earth, Admiral Kate Rogers was meeting with world leaders about humanity's new role in the galaxy. The conference room was full of politicians, military officers, and alien ambassadors. "We never asked to become the galaxy's protectors," Kate said, "but that's what we've become. Every week, more species ask for our help. Every month, our responsibility grows larger." President Maria Santos leaned forward. "Are you saying we should stop helping?" "No," Kate replied firmly. "I'm saying we need to be ready for what comes next. The Korthak Empire is broken, but there are other threats out there. The galaxy is vast, and we've only seen a tiny part of it." The alien ambassadors nodded in agreement. They had all heard rumors of other dangerous species lurking in the outer regions of the galaxy. The Devourers who consumed entire star systems, the Shadow Fleet that struck without warning, the Machine Collective that turned living beings into robots. "Humans have shown us that it is possible to fight back," said Hive Mother Zitara. "Before you came, we thought surrender was the only option when faced with superior force. Now we know that clever tactics and determination can defeat any enemy. 3 months later, Lisa Martinez was back at her old job on Titan Watch, but now she was director of Galactic Communications. Her job was to monitor distress calls from across the galaxy and coordinate rescue missions. "Director, we're getting multiple signals," reported her assistant. "The Centauri colonies are under attack by pirates. The Tau Ceti system is facing a plague that's killing millions. And there's something called the Void Hunters threatening the Outer Rim." Lisa looked at the star map showing all the crisis points. Red dots marked every location where intelligent beings were in danger. There were dozens of them, and more appeared every day. "Send the same message to all of them," Lisa said. "Help is on the way." She opened a channel to Admiral Kate Rogers, who was now commanding the entire Terran Defense Fleet. From her new headquarters on Luna, the fleet had grown to over 2,000 ships, with crews from 40 different species. "Kate, we need more ships," Lisa reported. "The galaxy is bigger and more dangerous than we thought. But everyone out there knows the same thing. When you're in trouble, you call the humans." Admiral Rogers smiled as she looked at the deployment schedules on her desk. Human fleets were heading to 12 different star systems, each carrying the same message of hope. "You know what, Lisa?" Kate said. "I think we found our purpose in the universe. We're not conquerors or explorers. We're the people other people call when they need help." "The Deathworlders," Lisa said with a laugh. "The Deathworlders," Kate agreed. "And you know what? I'm proud of that." Across the galaxy, human ships were jumping to faster than light speed, racing toward distant stars where civilizations called for help. Each ship carried the same promise that had started it all. When someone asks humans for help, humans answer. The galaxy would never be the same.